Hello guys, I'm Futureal. I stream 5 days a week over on twitch.tv/Futureal, and in this video it's another video from the 2.4 PTR servers from Diablo 2 Resurrected. It's time to test the Amazon changes, and as before, it's important to highlight that we are not testing every build, we're testing only the things that have been changed. And if you want to see what's traditionally the strongest build, you can check out the link in the description. It's a video from the Best of the Best series that I did a couple of months back. Now, moving on to this, what we are going to test, we're going to test the new traditional physical Bowazon that has gotten a boost. We're going to test the Fend Impale build, which has been getting a boost. And we're also going to test the traditional Javazon that was changed. Now, I had a quick look at it, and it doesn't seem to have changed very much, but we are going to have a quick look at it anyway. So, if you enjoyed the video, hit me up with a like and a subscribe, and leave a comment down below for what you want to see in the next videos. Until then, take care, and I will see you soon. So, we are here with the traditional Javazon. Now, the gear is the same as you have seen in many other places. The only thing that has changed from this build is that if you look at Charge Strike, it no longer receives synergy bonus from Lightning's Fury. So, you have an option to go a Charge Strike Sentry, kind of like a hybrid build, more melee-centric, and skip Lightning's Fury and put those 20 points, because obviously that also is going to free up Plague Javelin, right? So you have 21 points that you can put somewhere else. For instance, you can put them in Pierce, you can put them in Valkyrie, you can get more dodge, evade, and avoid. It's all up to you. I chose to spec this as the traditional Javazon, which is Lightning's Fury maxed and Charge Strike maxed with all the synergies, and that leaves me with just one in each of these 6 points here. We did put in the Strength and Dex so we can dump the rest in Vitality, and we have went and picked up a leg. We're going to do a cow run. I do think that this video is going to be fairly short, because this is just going to be absolute carnage, as we are used to from before. I do have a replacement Titans here, but we're not going to be using that one currently. I can just put that in here. So, let's give it a go and see what the cow level does. So for testing purposes, just to see how strong this build is, and I know this is not necessarily necessary, but let's put this on players 8. And we're going to go into the cow level. If this deletes the cows, it kind of just concludes the Javazon part of the video right there. Because the cows, they're the highest life mobs in the game. So if we do see that this is just absolute carnage, like I do kind of expect it to be. Yeah, it is. This is P8 cows, guys. So there is no notable change to this build, and you can use Charge Strike if you want. Like, how strong is Charge Strike? It's pretty damn strong. You can just run through these cows. Fanaticism, champions. Nobody cares. This is just absolute murder. Let's try to herd together a big pool here. There we go. So yeah, this, as I said, for testing purposes and to actually demonstrate how strong this build is, this is actually on players 8. And yeah, the traditional Javazon is unchanged, even though it has been actually fiddled with a little bit. It's giving it a little bit more, like, possibilities, things you can do with the build. The damage of this monstrosity is still just amazing. So there's no need to test anything else. Wherever this character was strong before, it will still continue to be an absolute beast. And there is no need to test any more of this. Now, in the description of the video, there is going to be a link to the traditional Javazon with more explanation of why I picked what I picked. The video is made before the 2.4 patch, but the points are still the same if you want to play the traditional Javazon. So we're going to move into the Bowazon, or no, let's actually do the Fend zone first to get that one out of the way. It's going to be a quite interesting build. All right, we have rebuilt the character. We are going to try the Fend Impale build. Quickly on the gear, we have the same physical damage dealer gear set up on the Mercenary as always, with the Might Mercenary with Treachery, Kiras, and Reapers. IS jewels in both of these to reach the 75% attack speed with a Thresher. Character is using Call to Arms and a Ethereal Spirit. This is going to save you a little bit of strength when you swap weapon, because you lose the 20 strength from your Titans. So just make sure that you use an Ethereal Spirit on swap for the Amazon, or for the Javazon, I should say. So we're using an upgraded Matriarchal Javelin Titans, Fortitude, High Lord's Storm Shield with an Umrune, using G-Phase with ED Strength, Laying of Hands. We have a Mana Leech All-Res Ring, String of Ears, Raven, Gore Riders, typical physical damage dealer setup, 3 damage or attack rating, small charms, and we have max damage and life across the board. Also Torsion and Nihilus. The build is pretty straightforward for the most part. We go max Impale and Fend, max Critical Strike and max Dodge. I chose to take 1 point in Penetrate for the passive attack rating, 1 point in all these other small ones, and then I dumped my points in Valkyrie. I'm not really a fan of the Valkyrie, but I couldn't really find any reasonable place to put this. You can pretty much take these points and put wherever you want. The big deal here is that dodge has been changed, so you are not going to get animation locked when you dodge on this character anymore. So we also have another one that we are going to try. We're going to try the two-handed Fend Jab build, Impale build here, with the Breath of the Dying afterwards. But for now, we are testing the one-hander and shield. Double checking that we are on players 1, and we are. And let's go to the cow level. Valkyrie, and we also choose Inner Sight since we don't have anything else to use. So let's go and find something to hit here. So it's, I mean, it's working. If you compare this to the Javazon that you have just seen, this is quite, it's quite a step down, to say the least. But it's definitely working. I think the Caudry mentioned it right there. The exact problem. It just feels slow. You can play with this. Don't really feel very much in danger with this build. I don't think I really need to test very much more with this setup right here. We're gonna do a slight change in gear. We're gonna go for the two-hander with the Breath of the Dying. And we're gonna see how that fares. I think for this, I'm gonna leave the one-hander and Storm Shield build right here. We're gonna come back to it a little bit later, and we're gonna try now the two-handed build. Alright guys, we have rebuilt, we have put on the Breath of the Dying two-hander. We have the exact same gear across the board except this two-hander. Me in the future is going to say something that is incorrect about attack rating and Impale. Impale is supposed to have a 100% chance to hit, so the fact that this shows up on your tooltip, it kind of put me off as well. I actually mentioned that you could put more points in Dex for better attack rating, but Impale has a 100% chance to hit, so don't listen to that part of the outro of the video that you're going to continue to see. Now back to the two-hander. Alright, so let's first jump into cows and see what we can do here. Let me just fill up with some potions.
Yes.
And you can see the damage is kind of crazy on this character. Oh, you think 18k is a lot? Watch what happens when I get Might Aura. That's 21. Oh yeah, right. No, Pride is not going to be better than Decrep. You have to have Decrep. Like you must have a source of either amplify damage or Decrep, and there's no way you can remove that ever, because if you can't deal with physical resistance, you're fucked. Okay, let's see if we can find something down here. Yeah. That's a little better. Damage-wise, of course. Although, it's still not an amazing clear speed here, of course. And I don't feel like I can that I get interrupted from dodge at all. You can see I'm taking virtually no damage here. Taking virtually no damage, even with the. That's because I'm not getting hit. I'm dodging so much, and I have a reasonable amount of leech. Yeah, exactly. Like I'm saying, it's not bad. It's not bad at all. It's just it has the same limitations as a regular melee build. So as you can see here. I'm also going to mention this. My future self is going to mention this a little bit later in the video, because I finished the video with the one-hander and the shield, and then I'm going to mix everything together. But my future self is saying later in the video that I think the one-hander and shield build is probably going to be what you want to do for Ubers and Declone, and the rest of the content you can probably run with a two-hander like a Breath of the Dying. Because this works just fine, and you barely take any damage. Both because you have a lot of leech, because you have really high damage, and because you have really, really high chance to dodge. I have 58% chance to dodge right now. So we are going to get out of here, and we're going to do a Trav run. Trav run is something that most characters must master if the character should be deemed as reasonable to play, in my opinion. All right, let's go. We are in Trav. Oh, let's rebuff real quick here. Let's get out of this place. I think this build has particular problems with repositioning your mercenary, obviously, because you don't have any teleport. But you can see our damage, though. This is absolutely murdering Trav. Look at this, we're like hitting 25% of the health of these council members, 50% on the regular. It's absolutely enormously good on Trav. Take a look at that. Wow. I'm quite impressed with the results of that, to be honest. That is really, really nice. That is really nice. I'm not going to increase the player count, guys. That's something that you can do yourselves based on the gear level that you have, and you have to figure out what is the correct player count for the gear level that you might possess. So we're going to go and try this build on a boss, and we're going to do, I think a Chaos run is probably fair to do. So I'm going to run to the entrance of Chaos, and we're going to do the run from there. Okay, we have arrived at the entrance of Chaos. I'm going to do a Chaos run for you guys so you guys can see how it is. We are still on the two-hander build with the Breath of the Dying. The rest is exactly the same as the one-handed Storm Shield build. So let's just buff up and let's go, and then we're going to have the what's it called? The Diablo kill at the end. Let me see here. So, you know, the damage in an area like this is obviously really, really good. I think the only thing that really slows you down here is like curses. Curses and mana leech. And then facing stuff that you can't leech from. But this is still, you know, it's reasonable. It's never gonna be one of the best builds. But can you play this? Absolutely. And I think this is an Uber character or a declone killer. Very, very cool. Very, very cool. So you can absolutely play Fend Impale if you want to play that version of the character. But it does have limitations. It does have a few limitations that if you are aware of, you can still take advantage of where this character is strong. And as far as I saw, this character is very strong in Chaos. No, not in Chaos, in Travincal. Very, very strong in Travincal. Absolutely murdered the Council. So you can farm Travincal with this character and really build yourself up a rune bank, and then purchase items to be able to farm Ubers and Declone. And you can do that if that's what you enjoy doing. Literally one-shot Grand Vizier over here. So this is very, very nice. I do like this. It's a very fun build to play, I have to say that. But is it very fast? No, it's not. So don't use this build, in my opinion, for conventional farming. If you are interested in playing it, I think you should stick to Travincal for runes, jewelry, charms, that kind of stuff. Faster run walk is of course going to help a little bit, but you're still like the AoE damage capabilities of the character isn't. It's not enough. Is it a little bit so you can actually make it work? Yes, it is. But it's not enough to make it, what should I say, a contender for other builds, for instance. Or it's not close enough to other builds to pick this one over them for conventional farming. So it's a niche build. It's a very cool niche build, and you can also play it very, very successfully in Ubers and in Declone. So if I was playing this build as my main character, I would have two setups. I would have this setup with a Breath of the Dying, either Ghost Spear or Warpike, and I would have a Ethereal one-hander with the Storm Shield. That would be my two ways of playing this, and then we just swap between the setups depending on what I would be doing. We're almost done with the run here. Just quickly run and click these seals, and then we're going to be on Diablo in just a few seconds. Unless we get barbecued by Infester of Holes. He's coming right here. It's a nasty bugger, this one. But yeah, she deals very, very solid damage. But it's just the design of the spell that makes it a bit slow. But okay, let's go on Diablo and see how fast we can kill him. Don't think this is gonna be. Look at the attack speed on this spell. It hits really hard, but the attack speed is very poor. But I mean, he got wrecked. He got wrecked by this character. She has very high single target damage. Very, very high single target damage. So, a quick TLDR.
At your service.
Alright, so we're here in Act 5. We are back on the one-handed build with shield. I think that's the way to go when we are doing Ubers or Declone. So we're going to test the Declone real quick. I think it's going to be a walk in the park, to be honest. But you never know, and we have to test. You can also test it with a two-hander if you want to do that, but for now I think the one-hander and a storm shield is probably the smart way to go. I'm really not liking these little units in the background here. We are kind of struggling a little bit with open wounds, I think. Oh, I forgot to CTA. I did actually. You're right. I forgot to buff up here, but that's okay. Shit happens. So that was the Impale build. Actually, not bad, and I kind of like I forgot to cast or CTA expired, and I didn't see it. So yeah, not bad. This was the one-handed Titans with the Storm Shield, Impale, and Fend build. Yeah, I kind of like that. We can check the Annihilus just for fun. Zip. Dodge that shot. There we go. Yeah, this setup is super safe for hardcore, obviously, because it's 50% damage reduction. You have 35 here and you have 15 here, so this is absolutely massive damage reduction. 12, 18, 6. Not very good. But okay. I think, as you saw, we took this character to the cows with this setup right here. And I think that this setup is mostly suitable for Ubers and D-Clone. I think maybe considering having another source of open wounds might be a good idea. As you saw, it was super safe with the Storm Shield. You could potentially go with a crafted open wounds belt here instead of string and sacrifice this this damage reduction for more open wounds. He did heal a little bit. Also, it could be, you see here the attack rating 48%. You could also try to maybe get some better attack rating charms in your inventory. Alternatively, put some more points in dexterity to have better chance to hit. It's a little bit low as is. But that's going to be it for the Impale build. So we're going to be back with the Bowazon in just a few seconds. Alright, so we're on the last of the Amazon builds. We are testing out a physical Bowazon. The gear is not optimal, and I think that can be good as well. I'll show you the Mercenary first. We are playing Pride. I should have had Fortitude and EDI. No, I mean Andes. But this is what I had, so we're just gonna put that on. I am using Faith myself. This should technically be in either a Matriarchal Boar or a Grand Matron Boar, but I didn't have one, so we're gonna try this. Using G-Skull, Fortitude, Atmos for amplified damage, Gore Riders, Raven, Razor Tail for Pierce and Dex. We have a All-Res Mana Leech ring right here, Laying of Hands for the ED to Demons, and the standard Call to Arms with a Ethereal Spirit for swap. And then we have max damage AR charms with a little bit of life across the board. And we have some resistance over here. Torch and Annie, of course. So the build is... we talked about it extensively on stream while making the preparations for this video. And there are so many ways of gearing, or not gearing, but, well, that too, but there's so many ways of speccing this build. Because you can go multi-shot, you can go strafe, you can go cold arrow, magic arrow, immolation arrow, exploding arrow. There's so many things you can do. But for this test specifically, we wanted to test strafe, and we also have multi-shot and magic arrow for the physical immunes. We put, 16 points in critical strike to get that up high. We have penetrate, maxed for the attack rating, and we have pierce so that we have a 100% chance to pierce when we have battle command from our CTA. Obviously there is the 33 from Razortail added to that amount. And we have 1 point in Valkyrie, and the remaining points we dump in Dodge. Dodge has been changed, so it no longer cancels your animation. The dodge has a lot higher value than it used to have in Lord of Destruction. So we're going to try this build. We have opened the portal to the cows here. So let's just take a look and see how it goes. So we are using slow missiles. This is the strafe first. Using strafe. Actually not bad, to be honest. But then let's jump over to multi-shot. I feel like I enjoy the multi-shot gameplay a little more. But you can see that these units have a lot of health. And I think that... I don't think this build is going to perform on high player count very well. I think this is definitely a player's one build. So if you do mostly play alone on Battle.net and you want to play a Bowazon, absolutely you can play this. So it's not terrible. Absolutely not terrible. It's much better than it used to be. I also think that if you potentially spec this as a multi-shot build instead of a strafe build, it could also perform a little bit better. Because we are only playing 1 point in multi-shot right now. But that's up to you guys to figure out which of these builds that you want to play. I feel like multi-shot is a better alternative than strafe when it comes to group farming. It feels kind of weird with strafe farming groups, even though it works. I think that multi-shot probably works better. But I would have to say that with the experience that I have from Bowazon before, I think that this build is going to struggle on higher player counts, and you will have the most fun playing this build if you are on players 1. So yeah, absolutely, you can play this. It's a pretty cool build actually. But I think I would recommend going multi-shot. It's just so much cleaner. It doesn't feel that clunky as the strafe does, because when you click strafe, she stands in place and goes absolutely ham and hits everything. But when you're playing 100% chance to pierce, the multi-shot just... I feel like the multi-shot just does more damage. And I feel like strafe could probably be a single target spell. Yeah, so I don't think we need to do anything more here. This works just fine. Let's head over to Travincal real quick, and we will see how this build does there. I'm sure that this build is going to do reasonably in Travincal. Some Bowazons like knockback Vicious, some don't. At the moment I do have knockback, but I feel like it's very individual from person to person. Where is my Valkyrie? There we go. Oh, I think I also missed my battle orders there, but you see our damage is fine here. The mercenary wouldn't have died if I had cast battle orders there. But yeah, I mean, you see the damage is just fine. So this build is definitely playable. It's actually quite a lot better than what it used to be, I have to say. Alright, we have arrived in Chaos, guys, and it's time to do a Chaos run. Not necessarily because of Chaos, because we know it's going to be kind of slow, because it's we're running, we don't have teleport. The fact that we cannot reposition our mercenary is huge. I think that this build very much echoes what I said about the Bladesin. It's quite strong in areas that are very close to a waypoint. For instance, Travincal, maybe Arachnid's Lair. those areas that you can reach really, really fast. If you are if you're farming areas where you have to run over long distances, this character loses a lot of its power, and I wouldn't necessarily recommend doing that. Like, there's nothing technically wrong with the damage that we have. The damage is fine, even though it's not amazing. It's fine. I don't think that we really can complain too much about the damage we're doing. It's more of a class design kind of issue, whereas we are kind of forced to play Fortitude on this character because the damage is lower than other characters, and that takes away Enigma. Not having a teleport to reposition your mercenary is extremely punishing for this build, because he is running off doing whatever he wants to do while you need him up front tanking for you and doing that damage. But as you can see here, there's nothing wrong with the actual damage that we're doing. The damage is fine. We will see on Diablo what kind of damage we can do to single target. I feel like Diablo should go down fairly quickly. So we see here, multi-shot AR is 11.2k and strafe is 14.6. So we do have a little bit better chance to hit with strafe. But I still feel like multi-shot is taking the lead as the group farming, the main spell that you want to use for group farming. I would say that strafe is probably best used as a single target ability. At least for what I have seen in my very short little test here. So we're soon going to be on Diablo. So we'll quickly slap down these last few mobs. Looks like I have to find myself some arrows, which I have to say is it's quite extraordinary that we still have to pick up arrows in this game. I don't really see what that is supposed to do anymore. Like, why am I forced to have arrows in my inventory and lose inventory space on an already very, very cramped inventory? I mean, I guess it doesn't need to be a unique quiver, it just needs to be buy one set of arrows or buy a quiver, and you know, there you have it. So you don't need to do anything more. So yeah, you can definitely farm with this. Like, this is much better than the build used to be. I can say that for a certainty. It's a fun build. If you are a character, or you're a person that likes to play bow characters, by all means, you can play this build. In this iteration that I'm showing you, it is quite expensive, I'm not gonna lie. I do actually assume that this build will be quite expensive if you are going to play it, because the damage itself on physical builds is not amazing. But you can see it here, when we have, oh my lord. The damage, though, the single target damage was absolutely mad. That guy got slain. Absolutely slain, that guy. So yeah. Bowazon, very, very fun build to play. It's still quite slow because you're forced to play Fortitude. You can't really play Enigma on it. It's hard to not be able to reposition your mercenary. But all in all, a really fun build, and my biggest suggestion to you guys is, if you want to play the Bowazon, no matter what kind of iteration of the Bowazon you go for, there's a lot of possibilities with the Bowazon as is now. Magic Arrow, Multi-Shot Strafe, Cold Arrow, Explosive, and Immolation. So there's a lot of stuff you can do. But if you do, try to stick to areas that are close to a waypoint. That's going to be very, very efficient for you. So that's going to be the end of the Amazon video. Thank you so much, guys, for checking out the video, and we are going to be back with another video soon. I'll see you next time.